Well, hey everybody, I am back where we were in yesterday's video. I believe that this is the old telephone line utility road. I learned a lot of stuff researching it in between videos, and today I've come back, well, way on the other side to hook up where we were yesterday, so stay tuned. Alright, so here's the deal, everybody. As a lot of you know, whenever I go to a place and explore, I never leave the way I came in, or if I go back, I try to come in from another direction to cover more ground. So the telephone line from the early 1900s that I've followed sections of over the past year has been a mystery, lots of breakups. Well, I think I got it figured out. Got one section that runs under the new road. It cut right across here. Piggybacks onto the mid-1800s rail line that is now a rails to trails, and then ends up in this section of woods that looks like it's been logged several times. I'm seeing residuals from the 1930s and 40s to 20 years ago. Oh yeah, this is huge mess. But you can see by all the stuff they left behind, and it's all been pushed. So it took me about an hour to get right here. I'm pretty sure this is it. Now it's time to head all the way to the other end, it's probably a mile, to the pond, and I'll share with you what I learned. So let's hit it. So first thing we need to do is make it through here where it's been logged, get into the old woods, but we got to keep our eyes peeled for, you know, a path, but also poles or toppers or anything else from the utility line. All right, here's the first sign. We got some of the pole toppers. Still on the look for an insulator. That would be really nice, but I'm sure they've all been lost or pulled off at some point. The only problem is I'm not seeing any path that distinctively sticks out. Oh, but I do see some big metal over there. Ah, it's a stove. Actually, there's a lot of big metal here. So that makes me think that right here, despite how bad of a hike in it was and terrible the land is, this was accessible at one point in time for somebody to come out here and dump this. So I'm going to use compass brain and just try to keep following that trajectory towards the pond from yesterday. But I'm dealing with this problem. Oh man. Pretty sure I gotta get over there somewhere and keep heading towards the slightly northeast. God, that just seems way off the line I'm trying to follow. I gotta tell you, I'm keeping a straight line through the woods, and this is horrific. Dealing with the multiple timelines between the colonial days, the logging days, the railroad days, and everything else, it's very, very difficult to keep a straight line when there's no path. And there's another pole. This is one of those things, if you could imagine coming out here just unknowing of the history of the land and the town and wondering how and why the hell there's a telephone pole in the middle of all this crap. And it's things like that wonder that made me start doing this a long time ago. So I'm making my way still through where they logged. And I gotta say, this is one of the biggest messes I've seen in a long time. This is why it makes it very difficult to put pieces together. Ah, finally. I think I broke through. Pole. Pole. Topper. And another pole up there. Wow, what a friggin' mess. Can you imagine 50, call it 60 plus years, this was accessible for somebody to come up and work on these lines. All right, let's hope it stays direct to the pond. Oh, cool. Part of a pole and tree. I'll tell you, if I wasn't using directionality skills, this would be impossible. Oh my God, is that glass? Oh, it is. It's part of an insulator. And the ground is frozen, of course. Hey, don't have to carry a shovel when I got this thing on me. Oh, yes. This is going to take a while, but it needs to come out of the ground. Be back. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Finally, I have an artifact from this telephone line. Now that is awesome, and I can tell you it would not have come out of the ground without my SD tool. Yeah, I try to sell these things up hard, but prime example right there. You always have it on you, you'll always use it. Well, that just made this atrocious hike completely worth it. I don't even think I'm halfway there. I'm just hoping for a break in this terrain. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for stuff like this. Well, it's a bit more defined if you can see it. Brutal. So I gotta get around this, not lose it. Ah, finally we have connected. We're at the tail end of that colonial square we were in. This is that junction. So wow, pretty much past the point where we stopped the other day. Heading out there, it just gets terrible. So let's get over to the pond and I'll tell you what I learned. Sorry, I'm still scanning for glass. So what I learned was right here at this point where this telephone pole is, in 1947 in the old aerial, that was ground. You could actually go right across it. The pond pretty much was at the end of this utility road. So all that water up there has happened since, call it the 50s. The 52 aerial, you could see it kind of encroaching upon it, but so really there's no need for me at this point to actually go over there. I'm going to at some point just for the curiosity factor. But what I figured out going through the maps and stuff, that's a small chunk of land. The new road cuts through it, and where this telephone line crosses over, some guy made a driveway out of it. You can't mistake it. It hooks right up with this and then just straight up to his house. So we're not going to show you that because it's some dude's driveway. So there you have it. I now know where this connects from the pond all the way back to the railroad tracks. Well, I've got to go back. I definitely don't want to go the way that I came because that sucked. Thank goodness I got that insulator out of the ground because I'm never going to hike that again. It was that bad. What a difference. Inside the colonial space here of this square, this utility line is so visible. As soon as you get over that wall to where they've cut it several times, absolute mess. I have never seen a logging job that bad. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna shut the camera off because that took me an hour and a half to go 1 mile. That's how bad it was. And I don't want it to take that long going back, so I'm going to go another way. If anything crazy happens, I'll be right back. But if not, until next time, enjoy your Not Thursday. Oh, I'm back. You know why? You're not going to believe what I just found wedged in the ground, and this is fantastic, because I don't believe we have anything like this in the town museum. So along with the insulator, I got a sign. Interesting. I can tell you there's no possible way there's an underground telephone line buried here. Maybe it was at some point in time, but not now. Get out and explore your world, people.